Why, hello there. Welcome to the Blerd Dad Podcast, a space where we like to have unfiltered conversations and nerd out about fatherhood or just parenthood in general. I'm your host, Glennlawrence, and I'm super happy to be with you today. Things are going swell. As you can see, I'm eagled out. I'm ready for the start of the football season. It is reminding me of a couple weeks ago when I was at Eagles training camp, which felt like a game. It was amazing. This was his first experience with the Eagles. And I know some of y'all may be turned off by the, what would I say? Not quite perfection, but the excellence of the Eagles, a football team like that, because it's hard. We're out here accomplishing things. We got a great quarterback. Things look to be on the up and up, and some other teams are faltering. But I didn't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the excellence that is the Eagles. I took him to the training camp. He loved it. We were out there taking pictures. He was pointing out plays. He was like, pass, ball, all that good stuff. I had a Ravens football and I had to switch that football out for an Eagles football because I need them to be representing the appropriate team. But Ravens is a fallback team. Shout out to my cousin who's a Ravens fan. I know everyone's got a black sheep. No, I'm just joking. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to the Blerd Dad Podcast. As you know, we are sponsored by an amazing website. It's called theymademewearit. Yes, theymademewearit. It's a husband and wife team, and they are on a mission to get your dog or cat or pet into the fashion world. They're just out there doing it, making sure your pet is draped, that they got the latest fashions. They are amazing at what they do, and they will be amazing for your pet. You should check them out, whether your pet has a fancy prom to go to, if they need some comfy jammies, some walking around clothes, you know what I mean? Whatever they need, theymademewearit got it. And if you need to know that your bunny is going to a good cause, just know that theymademewearit does donate some of their proceeds to go to Hope for Paws, which is a animal rescue organization that works tirelessly to make sure that they get these animals off the mean streets and get them into nice, healthy homes. So you're doing a good thing. You're also making your pet look fashionable, which is great. It's an admirable thing to do for that pet. I can't say enough good things about theymademewearit, but I can tell you if you use code word blerd, you get 50% off at checkout. So check out theymademewearit and you will not be disappointed. Now, we have an amazing guest today. She's great. She's also going to be performing with me on September 15th at Crooked Run Brewery. It's going to be a great time. I'm going to be doing a bunch of minutes, I guess they would call it headlining. I don't like to call it headlining, but got to pop the shoulders a little bit. I'll be out here headlining, doing a bunch of minutes of time. She's going to be out there with me. It's going to be a great time. If you know her, you know she's incredibly funny. I'm talking about the amazing, the fabulous MsCole. She is pretty funny, straight up. Her storytelling style of comedy paints a hilarious picture that's art. It's a work of art on stage. When MsCole is not on stage, you can find her pouring champagne and laughing at strangers. She loves to people watch. You know what I'm saying? And I love to watch her work. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to get out there this Friday and tear up the stage with her. And the good thing about her is she's super funny, right? And I'm going to go up there, and that means I got to be funny. She's going to make me work. And that is the whole reason why I think you're going to have an amazing time if you go out to Crooked Run Brewery on this Friday. But I don't think we should wait any longer. I think I should bring up our amazing guest here, MsCole. What's going on, MsCole? How you doing, babe?
Hello, I'm good. How's everybody?
Everybody's doing good. I think everyone is doing well. As a matter of fact, I know my wife is doing well. By the way, she said your thumbnail. She said, finally, this is the sexiest thumbnail that we've had. You know what I mean? So that's coming. She was like, you look good in your picture. You know what I mean? It looked amazing. I didn't want to say it. She brought it up. I was like, hey, you are right. That's the sexiest look that we've had so far on the thumbnail on the Blerd Dad Podcast.
Tell Steph I do what I can.
Somebody's
got to do it. I'm a look at
me. You looking great. You looking amazing.
Hard, but
how are you doing? I know you just became a double mom, a grandmom, and so that's super exciting. How are you doing? You're a grandma 3 times over.
Yeah, everybody forgets because the granddaughters came last. I have a grandson who's 6, and then I have a 1-year-old, a 15-month-old, and she'll be a month old on the 9th. So I've got babies.
Wow, baby babies. What's that like? See, here's the thing. I definitely want to be a granddad. And I was saying last week, I think the only way I'm going to be able to do it is if I'm a little bit neglectful as a father. You know what I mean? I have to have a little bit, like he has to be raised a little bit poorly so he has these babies like mad, or like I'm not even talking about just normal early, like like he's got to be having like a baby at like 15 or something, because like I'm not going to be around to see it unless he is really out there in these streets. Obviously, I'm joking, y'all, but I do want to be a granddad, and I think the only way to do it is to be young, while like super young for him.
No. I mean, my oldest is 33, so she didn't have our first grandchild till she was 27, and I think I was 47, about to be 48. So
lucky you.
But the way they feel about it, my daughter sent me a message, and she said she put this Facebook post up rather, and at top it had the Toy Story dinosaur playing with the kids. And at the bottom it had a T-Rex. So at top it says my mom is a grandma, and at the bottom there's a T-Rex ripping things apart. My mom is a mom. So your grandpa, you earn the rights to just let them go, and you don't have to worry about if there's a hard balled up rag in the bathroom, or if the top's off the milk, or the refrigerator's open and the water's running anywhere when they're grandkids. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I don't have to do any of the disciplining or anything right now, which is something that I'm running up against now. Like the discipline thing, I feel like is very, very difficult. Obviously, because you look at me funny, but he's changing. Like he was a very cute little baby, and he's still a very cute little baby, but now he's having tantrums. You know what I mean? He's talking back, he's swinging on us. Like before, it'd just be like, you'd be like, no, can't do that. And now he's like, oh, you want to fight about it? He like starts like trying to raise up. And I'm like, whoa, like I wasn't prepared for that. I was going to be a non-contact parent, but he's trying to contact me.
I think that a little tough love, smack on the ass sometimes makes it all the difference, because if they don't know you'll do it, then they're going to constantly be pushing you. They're going to be constantly testing you. And I say, take the small steps before you break at the end and do something you ain't really supposed to be doing with the child. Mine, no, I could just look.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think my tact has always been, I think every discipline has to have like a purpose and a reason. Like you don't have to just like yell at them because you're irritated, right? Like just because they irritate you doesn't mean they're necessarily doing something wrong. It just means that they're irritating you. Where I do like to discipline and make sure that he knows, and there's like a little force behind it. If he's doing something that'll hurt him, or if he's doing something that'll hurt us as a whole, then I'm like, all right, I need to like step in. And I don't really, he's like I feel like he's a little bit too young to actually be spanked, but I do have to like give him a little like pluck or something. Just a little no. Only when there are things that are going to hurt him. You know what I mean? Like it's less of things that are annoyances and more of like this will hurt you, and then I'll be like, all right, now I'll tap him because I'm like that. See, like that hurt, right? Like this will hurt you. You don't do it because it'll hurt you. And then sometimes
you have to let him touch the iron.
What's that?
Sometimes you have to let him touch the iron.
And that's what I was about to say. Sometimes you just got to let him like, okay, that hurt. See, that's why I give you taps, because that hurt more, didn't it? And it's all something.
I gave you taps. How sweet.
That's what I like. That's what I like to call it. Because if you say hit, then people are like, oh, they clutch their pearls or whatever. But if you say taps, it sounds sweet. It sounds like discipline. Oh, he had to get a little tap, just a little tap on the
you so sweet, because I tell mine I had to get that ass real quick. Get them legs. No.
You know what though? It is a very satisfying sound when you give them a little on the like just a little.
No,
hey, that's the sound of discipline.
Past that. What is so satisfying about the sound, Glenn?
Listen, you know why? It takes me back to when I used to act up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's the sound of discipline right there. That's the sound of straighten up. Just a little on the chubby little thigh."
You get in my shit.
Yeah, I'm just joking. But I did want to point out we are going to be at Crooked Run on September 15th together. Yes. Which is, we normally don't talk about comedy on the Blerd Dad podcast, but when we have a show like this coming up, we got to let the people know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to be doing a bunch of time out there. You're going to be out there doing a bunch of time as well. And it's just going to be amazing.
It's my whole stopping ground.
Yeah. Is it
That's
okay?
the
Because
first
you
place I
down
did
there.
comedy after COVID.
Yeah, you know what? I used to live out because that's where I was during my first or one of my earlier lives. I've had a lot of lives. That was one of my earlier lives when I was because I've been married before or whatever. And I used to live
Yeah.
out there, so it was a long time ago, and I used to get busy down there.
So you know Doug Scott,
Doug Scott.
the hilarious Doug Scott, the comedian.
Oh, no, I wasn't doing comedy back then.
Oh, so you don't know Big Doug? You know
I
Little
know Big
Doug.
Doug.
Doug Bennett, we call him Little Doug. Then you got Big Doug.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Look, these are all people I need to know because I did used to live out there, and it used to be fun time. Are you excited for us going out here on September 15th, Crooked Run?
I am very excited to be back at Cricket Run. I love their bartenders. Hopefully somebody's there who still remembers my drinks. I knew the owner, and I was out there every week with Squiz, Doug, Clay Miles, Zach tells jokes. We were all out there every week.
And so I'll be out there this week, and we gonna tear it down. I'm gonna see some old people probably from high school, college, and we're gonna be down there.
College?
No, I went to college in Radford, but there was a bunch of transplants over there, and we used to always, it would be like a caravan. We'd go down there like we were tailgating, and we would get it, and that's what we did when we went to college anyway. It felt like we were tailgating anyway. We were just out in the parking lot getting busy until they told us, all right, y'all got to leave, y'all got to get out of here. As a matter of fact, we were the class that tipped over the car at Radford, and then they had to cancel Quad Fest. That was my people's. It wasn't me. I was nowhere involved. I was nowhere involved. However, I may or may not have known.
You just said you were a part of the class, so
guilty by association, but I ain't do it.
You knew about it.
I knew about it. All right. Anyway,
anyway.
So back to the whole kid raising thing. How many kids do you have right now?
6.
You got 6 of them?
I have 6 children, yes, but they're grown now. So my youngest are 20.
I knew that, but I'm acting surprised for the audience. 6 children, looking so amazing.
Yes. Let's see, 4 girls and twin boys. 30.
Okay, so 2 of them snuck in there.
I don't call that sneaking at all. When you 282 pounds and they tell you to beep when you back up to give folks a warning, that is not sneaking by any means.
But did you know it was going to be twins?
I found out I was pregnant with twins all in 24 hours.
Oh, wow. How early into the pregnancy did you find out it was twins?
He went and he checked me. He said, you should be 4 or 5 weeks, but you feel like you're 8 or 9 weeks. And I want you to go have an ultrasound right now. And I said, okay. So I left my GYN and went down the street to the ultrasound associates. And she said, oh, wow, here's baby 5 and baby 6. Oh,
wow.
So yeah, you're pregnant, but you feel like you're more pregnant than you should be. I think you might be further along. Nothing said twins.
Yeah, right.
Nothing said twins.
I can feel that because when the whole pregnancy thing, we're having, the baby, and nothing in my mind would click to say, oh, you're going to get 2 of them like that. That is the furthest thing from your mind.
I was numb. I'm not going to lie. I went back to work. And at that time I was working in Skyline. So, all the restaurants were there before everything moved. And I had a glass of wine and a salad from San Antonio Grill because I had to just, Yeah, I'm still shocked sometimes when I think about it. They're 20 and I just look at them and go, I'll kill you, boy.
What y'all did to my body.
You know what you did to me?
I feel like that's what it is. They are like sneaking into the club, it's just like one gets in like, hey man, hold the door open. And that's what happens when you had twins.
And not just twins, fraternal twins.
So they look
no, they don't. They're not identical. They're fraternal. So
fraternal. Which I forget which is the which. Which is the
identical is at least one sac and they look alike. Fraternal is basically 2 separate babies being born at the same time.
Oh wow. Yes.
Everything, 2 sacs, 2 umbilical cords, 2 everything. 282 pounds.
Does that make the labor 2 times as hard?
What labor? It made that C-section decision very easy. Well, I didn't have a choice. One was coming foot first, and the other one was upside down, and the other one was sitting on his cord. And I made it to 35 weeks in 3 days. So I was.
Oh, good. Wow. Listen, with twins, that your belly gets big. I don't even know. Listen, I don't know. I don't. It's not like I pray. Like I pray for all the mothers, or I think about all the mothers. It's always constantly on my mind. After going through the pregnancy, seeing Steph go through the pregnancy, I'm like, oh, this is way harder. Like this isn't like the movies at all. This is way difficult.
Nothing funny about it.
There is no joke about it. It's a very serious business, you know, and moms are in they're going through some things. And I made it a point. I said, okay, here's my deal. And you could ask Stephanie about this. She may say that I'm like a hellion now, or she's very annoyed with me now. But during the pregnancy, I was making sure that she was the most comfortable. All the meals we were getting were, anything that she wanted to get. Her feet were laid up. She got to just chill out for the entire I think it was zen. She was at like a spa for that entire 9-10 month period. She was chilling. And I just made sure because in my mind, I'm thinking if the incubator is comfortable, the baby is going to be comfortable. If the mom is having a good pregnancy, when the baby comes out, it's going to be chill. And the baby came out chill. He took his time. And then when he was ready to come, he's like, I would like to come out. And he just popped right out. Her labor was only like 4 hours. It was like, boop, like just right out of there. And then he came out. He was just chill as can be. And I think it's because the pregnancy was so smooth.
Oh,
Is
that what you think?
Yeah, is that not the experience?
I think you did the most of what a man can do, but minimalist to what a woman actually is needing at that time. To get our food and stuff is great. To wait on his hand, but I had beautiful pregnancies. That's probably why I had so many damn babies. My husband waited on me hand and foot. But you say she was in labor for 4 hours. I promise you it was more than 4 hours. She was in labor all along. She was just dealing with it.
Well, that's the thing.
To the point where we can't take it anymore and be like, okay, it's here.
Well, that's the thing. She has a high pain threshold, which I think she was in labor way before she thought she was in labor, but she was just like, this is just whatever. And then when it got unbearable was when she thought she was going into labor, but really it was like the late stages when you're ready. And I'll tell you, I was like, she was, going through it. She's like, oh, I'm not feeling well or whatever. And then she's like, oh, you should call the doula and figure things out. And then she called it. And then, the midwife comes in and she's like, because we were doing like a home birth and we were getting I was like, oh, do I got to get the tub ready? She's like, you don't have time. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? She's like, the baby's about to be here. And I was like, but what does that mean? It's like, you're in the next hour or so, you're going to have a baby here. And I was like, but what does that mean?
Look, it means you finna, like my daughter, she was like, Mommy, are we staying? I was like, baby, that means the baby's coming. She was like, we having a baby today. I was like, it looks like it's gonna be today.
Yeah, because you wait so long and the baby's there.
It's even, no matter how much men, doctors, or whomever have tried to predict, they cannot predict or determine or see everything that goes on with the passing of life. But I will tell you, it is death pains. You don't know if you're gonna make it. The thing is once you push that baby out, none of it matters. You forget all about it.
Yeah, there's like a high that happens or whatever. Yeah, and
I witnessed that's another life through your body is death pains.
Yeah, but oh my goodness, but it's such a beautiful thing. And then, but for me,
let's just say that to watch.
It was a beautiful thing to watch for me. It was beautiful to witness.
I'm so glad you enjoyed watching.
I had such a good time though. It's funny. I was having a good time. I was like, oh man, this is it. She's going through it. She's doing the pushing. And I was like, wait. I was like, do the breathing. And then I took out the camera because I was like, oh, this is going to be such a great moment. And I went to go click and then I clicked it. She was like, get that camera out of my face. And I was like, oh, bad. Let me back up. My fault. You're right. She was not having it. It was very touching, but I was like, all right, I just want to be there. But I think I was a good partner. I was helping her with the breathing. I was holding her hand. I was calming her when needed to be calm. The doulas and the midwives were like, oh, okay. I was handling business, and I think I very much like calmed the anxiety that she was having because it was a lot of pain, and so it like calmed that down.
A lot of pain.
Yeah, she was.
That's what you're gonna go with.
Yeah, she was in a lot of discomfort. I don't know if she would say it was pain. I think she would
You
say
can say
it's
whatever you want because you didn't have the elephant stepping out your ass.
so
You could say what it looked like. I want you to add that phrase to it looks like it was a lot of pain.
Listen, I've been doing this.
Looks like
Listen,
it was
I'm-
discomforting.
listen. I've been doing this podcast for a minute, talking about birth and everything, and you're the first person who's been like, "Hold up, you need to recognize exactly how hard your wife worked." Everybody else is giving me a pass and been like, "Oh, good job," and clap, clap, clap. And you're like, "No. Whatever you think you did, you didn't do enough. It's too much."
Yay. But understand, until you are the vessel that is being used to pass through life, you can't know. Men don't have the woe. You will never know what it's like all the time building up to it. There's no compromising with a baby inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no compromising. We don't get to do that. We just got to stretch, get big, hurt, ache, eat what it wants, do what it wants, walk if we can. We don't have that. And you come along like, here's some water. Thank you. That's the least you could do because you can't do what I'm doing. You should do every damn thing else.
I'll take that. I
think women should issue us these little pins so when y'all come close, we can just stick you while you walk by.
The pregnancy poker.
Yes, that's a product.
That's a product.
You better copyright that.
Yeah,
Pregnancy poker. Every time you walk by, if he looks strange, poke his ass.
And it just mimics whenever you get the poker, it should have like a voltage on the end of it, and it just mimics the contraction pain. So you just like
we could call it a pappy taser.
A pappy taser. That sounds so medical.
Every time I feel the pain. Did you see the thing? I don't know what social media platform it was on where they hooked the men up to feel the pains of having contractions.
Yeah, so
they didn't last like 12 seconds.
I feel like I'd last longer. I feel like I would, I feel like I'd be able to take it just a little bit longer. I am very curious though. As a matter of fact, I should do it. I should try it just to
We need to hook him up.
Huh? I'm gonna tell you like this. You would rather have a 300-pound cowboy in steel-toed boots kick you in your Johnson 15 times before you push out a baby? I promise you.
I don't want to be kicked in the Johnson. I feel like I'd want to. I feel like I would choose the baby thing first. Maybe afterward, I'll be like, all right, because the Johnson thing hurts and it lasts. You feel it in your belly. That's how bad.
People have been in labor for like 7 days. It's gonna go away, but understand until you push that thing through, it ain't nothing stopping. No. I mean, kudos to you for being a present dad and partner through the birth and everything, but understand you were supposed to be there doing that because you couldn't do the other part and you still got a baby too out of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So did it get
you can't give them back. They don't come with return policies.
This is true. And they don't give you a card either. They don't give you like, all right, here's what to do. It's they just hand you the baby and be like, all right, good luck.
You get that baby bag, some extra Pampers and wipes, a few blankets.
Yeah. It's really weird when you have the home birth because then you're just home. Like when you're in the hospital, you feel like you get a little bit of, a little bit of something. But when you're at home, it's just like, all right, see y'all later. And then you're just in the house with the baby and it's like, all right, what do we do now? But that was cool. I don't know. It was something very cool about it. Like just having the baby there and then, you're just with it. You're just with you and your child. You get to spend all that amazing upfront time with it. It's just,
it's a beautiful time. It really is. I was there for all of my grandkids' births. And you saw I had the baby today. So I make sure, I'm there in support because I had one son-in-law who passed out nearly both times. The first baby, so my oldest had 2. And the first one, me and my husband ended up birthing the child. He had one leg and I had the other. I'm sure he never went to see his daughter give birth, but we had to because the baby daddy was like, I think I'm gonna up. So he went down. My daughter tapped my husband in. So he got one leg, I got the other one. We're birthing our grandson. And all of a sudden, baby daddy pops back up like he's the #1 fan. Let's go, babe. You could do it. And we all, even the doctor, we just stopped and looked at him like, didn't you just have to get the salts under your nose? Yeah.
Weren't you just unconscious?
He was about to do it again. Luckily, his mom stayed. I came home. The second birth was quick and short. So by the time she called me and said she's 10, I'm on my way. I went from where I stayed to Stafford, 20 minutes. They were sending me pictures. So she pushed that time, but he did it again. And he was like, Mommy. So his mom had to get in. So you did better than a lot.
Thank you. Can I get just a little love for that? I was in there. You know what I mean? There was never even a question whether I was going to pass out. I'm like, we're in it. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I was like, we're in it. All right, cool. And I got to see the whole thing. I got to see everything open up. I was the first hands on the baby. You know what I mean? So, I felt very, very proud, because I'll tell you what, babies don't slide out. They shoot out. And like, I almost, there was it was the most precious thing I've ever caught. It was the best catch that I think I've ever had. Baby shot out. There was no fumbling. I just caught it right in my hands. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, like you might, like if it's a football, you might bobble it. There was no bobble. I just caught him, had his head in my hand. I was like, oh, this baby's here. It's like, because it was like the final push. It's like, and then it's just like, poof, and then they come flying. It's funny because you see the movies and stuff where the baby comes flying out of the thing, and it really happens like that. They fly out, but I did it. I felt like I was receiving a pass for Peyton Manning. It was just like, whoop. Shout out to Steph for the Kegels. She had it was a strong ejection there. I know. So which let's get back on track. Which baby? So were they all like kind of the same in terms of your labor, birthing pains and everything, or was it?
No, all completely different.
Okay.
Yeah, my first one was easy. I did completely natural, even though I was at the hospital. I was in labor for like 3 days before she finally came down. Second one, piece of cake. She was great. The third one was a C-section. She was long, and I'm not, I have a short torso, so she wouldn't turn around. So with her, oh my, I was admitted to the hospital 18 times before I had her.
Wow.
I had to endure a version, which is where they try to turn the baby around inside your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
That was not fun. And so I had to have a C-section, and I woke up, and the first thing I heard was not guilty, O.J. Simpson. And she asked me how time she was born. I said, back up 2 hours from the not guilty verdict, and that's when you were born. And she said, are you serious? I said, yeah, that's the first thing I heard when I woke up in recovery. And I know I had to have been there for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours from the C-section. Yeah,
so was it the doctor saying it, or who was saying the not guilty?
It was on the TV. The judge was saying, reading the verdict, literally, not guilty.
Were they distracted? Is that why? Were they distracted delivering the baby because they're looking at the OJ?
So I'm laying in my bed, right? And I know I'm just really waking up. And my baby's right here to my right in the incubator. Standing between her and the incubator is my aunt, who's more like my sister. And on this side is my husband. I wake up and I see them both looking right over at my TV screen in my hospital room. And I open my eyes. And by the time I'm, cognizant, I hear not guilty. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. And that's how I tell her when she was born. The fourth was the hardest.
Okay. Why was that?
Yeah. I don't talk about that one. It still hurts. I had what you call a contortion.
Okay.
Of my uterus.
Oh, wow.
So it twisted different. You know what a contortion artist is, right? They twist their bodies in different kind of ways.
Yeah.
My uterus decided to twist 2 different type of ways while I was in labor. And it did not stop. So imagine having a Charlie horse in your organ.
Ouch.
So I went from 0 to 10 and pushed her out in 30 minutes. Everything happened. It was bam. She came out. She split me. By the time I got the epidural, they used it to stitch me back up from the Rudy to the Tootie. That's a true story.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, she tore. I mean, I was screaming. So, when you have contractions where you might not know, they have the monitors in there and it goes up and you can see how intense the contraction is and it comes down.
Okay.
Mine went up to hashtags, which in Excel, if you know Excel, means it's too much.
Over the limit.
Mine went to hashtags and stayed there for the remaining 28 minutes.
What? So it didn't go up and then come back down. It was just
I
hashtag.
had one continuous contusion. It lasted almost a day and a half. And I had to have about 8 shots in my cervix and uterus to make it untwist. I was in pain. I had a morphine drip an extra day, even though I had a natural birth. But they are like, I was like, I can't move. Yeah.
Wow.
And I still breastfed and I still went home, but it was the worst. And she's brilliant. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful baby. She's perfect, you know.
Yeah.
She went to college on a free ride. She's an artist. She's great, but she was. Whew.
And you still went on to have 2 more after that. That was
That was Jesus and God got together and played a trick on me.
Just do it one more time. Watch this.
No, because she was 5 when the boys came along. So I had no diapers, no daycare. Everybody was in school, you know. Yeah.
And then boop, 2 more.
I mean, we had to change vehicles. We had a minivan. We couldn't get everybody.
Man. Wow. So you mentioned your fourth child is an artist. And I know a lot of your children are kind of in the arts. What is that like, raising artists, and how did you cultivate their art? Because I would be very, very happy if little Momo, little Q had artistic ability. And I just want to know, how do you cultivate that?
Free space. They have to be free to imagine, to dream, to do stuff. Like I literally would buy crayons to color the walls in the bathtub. Easy to wash off. Great place. A clean canvas for them to work. We didn't have a lot of kids, you know, and coming up, we didn't have a lot of money for stuff. So I would literally tape paper to the walls. We could walk around in footprints, and I just promoted them being themselves. So, you know, I've got a model / artist. I've got a jewelry maker / artist, and then I've got the artist / photographer / this. So it's just, I think, making sure that they have a free environment and they're encouraged. They don't know what this stuff is, but my daughter, who's an actual artist, wrote in 1st grade she wanted to be an artist.
Wow. And then she's still doing it. You giving her space now, she's still doing it.
Yeah, I feel like I had a job for them not to have a job, for them to do what they dream. So you had to figure that out, and they don't know. If you let them start trying things and seeing what they like and don't like early, 1, it encourages them to be more inclined to make a decision about something. And 2, they don't have a problem about failing or not succeeding or moving on and trying something new, because they know there's so many things out here. Let me try it. You just got to be encouraging of them as a person. And some kids might be like, I don't want to do that. You have to be okay with your child being who they are instead of who you want them to be, who you think they should be.
This is great advice. This is what one of my friends, my college roommate, actually was telling me too. He's like, if you push too hard, they're going to go like the opposite way, or some way that you don't even intend. And that's we've kind of just given him like, hey, here's some balls, here's colors, here's music, like everything you want. And he just goes back and forth between them. And I feel like as he develops, he's getting more adept at the certain things that he's doing. You know, his like little drawings, they like, you know, they're little scrabbles. But then just today I was like, oh, that's starting to look like a pattern right there. Like it's starting to kind of starting to take some shape or whatever. And he's starting to catch. I'm very proud of his catching a bit, because he was uncoordinated. I was like, all right, this dude can't catch. He ain't going. Look, you ain't going to the league catching like that. All right. It's already 1. We already behind. There are already kids in China dribbling. We gotta get up on it. But he's starting to come around. He's starting to have
his first birthday.
His 2nd birthday was just,
but he's supposed to be
catching. 2 now. He's 2 now.
So he should be catching.
He should be catching. But I'll say what, you know why I let him off the hook? Because he was a crawling baby and he was good. He'd had a little roll around on the ground. I was like, all right, that's a defensive end get up. That's a good spin move. So I was like, I'm gonna give you some, like, maybe you're a defensive player, maybe you're not an offensive player. I'm gonna give you a pass on the catch it, but you got to catch up, son. Eventually you're gonna have to get that interception, or you're gonna have to get the ball.
Okay, so what I was gonna say was actually something real.
Okay.
Are you doing these activities with him when you give him the ball, when you give him the crayons? Are you coloring?
At times, and then he's very independent. So I'll help him out a little bit, like, hey, you know, just guide him, you know, show him how to do something. But he's very much like he'll want us to show him the first time. He'll be like, show me. And then once we show him, he's like, all right, get out of here. Like, I know what I'm doing. And he'll like push us. And then he wants to just do it on his own. So he's like, all right, show me. And then after we show him, he's like, all right, I got it. Just back up. and then he wants to do his own thing. So we give him space, but we like show him and go through it. Steph is very good. She's very patient with them to go and like kind of show them the different things. And I come in, like the dad does, like, here you go, son, do this. And after she's taken the time to give him the initial lesson on it, and then I help refine it. But yeah, we do that. We go through the things, show them things and whatnot.
You be thinking you doing something, Glenn. You know.
I'm telling you.
I do something with him from beginning to end. Let him do it to himself so he can see how yours and his is, so he can start to make comparisons in his head. My girls would always tell me, why my flowers don't look like yours? I'm like, it's going to take time. And now that they're older, they see that it takes time and quality or care in your craftsmanship to get what you're getting. And sometimes they're like, Mommy, I don't know how you do that. So my oldest told me, like, me with the flowers, she was like, that's your art. Because I didn't see you making that. I didn't know what you saw. But she had a green canvas one day, and then all of a sudden there was a person on it, and I didn't see that happen either.
And then it just like popped up. You know what? That's a good point, because I have shown him, like held his hand to write things, but I haven't sat side by side and drew my own painting as he was drawing. I think that might be the next step into helping him cultivate his drawing ability or his writing ability, like even writing the letters and the alphabet. I might sit next to him and then try to draw a little bit or write a little bit. And I think that's a good tip. Okay.
Yeah, you have to make sure that they're cognizant and see they're cognizant and aware, because if he sees only what he's doing, he thinks that's great. Then you get these kids with this false sense of entitlement and greatness because they think, oh, because I did it, and Mommy, they said, oh, it's great, it's not. No, they need to see that I got to work. Mine's still not there yet. But if they don't see us doing it, then, and I think that helped a lot with our kids looking at us like, okay, well, I know she can do it better. Let me ask her. Let me do it. So you got to show them that there's levels to this. It's not all about your scribble scrabbles being great because we love you. If your scribble scrabbles ain't great, we're still gonna love you. But your scribble scrabble can be greater, and we can love you and your scribble scrabble if you do a good job. If that's what you want to do. It might be Tonka trunks. It might be blocks. It might be they're good at remote control cars. You don't know what it is. Right. But if you're not doing it with them and introducing them and then showing that this is the way it's going to be done, and you don't necessarily at such a young age want somebody outside of the home to be that example just yet. So you got to find things that they might be interested, that you can for sure do better than them not right now, and do it to completion so they see the effects and the stages and where it's supposed to go, not just, oh, I'm great because I scribbled. Yeah,
we're doing that with the cooking when we're in the kitchen, because we love cooking meals together. So we're doing it with the cooking. We'll show up. We're like, oh, like Daddy's got to season this, and you put butter here and you got to heat this up and do So we're doing that. So maybe he'll be like a little chef, because he's really kind of like, oh, but his thing now is he's like, Daddy, what doing? Or Mommy, what doing? And he's like trying to figure out everything every time we're doing something new. He's like, what are you doing? And it's funny because you don't know what they're saying at first, and then you have to like your ears get tuned to your kids like accent or their way of speaking. So now I know that when he's like, what doing? I was like, oh, daddy's doing this, or daddy's doing
what doing.
Yeah, it's
you have to learn your kids' language. You have to learn their style. Like you can even tell when they look at you, especially when they get older and they get ready to go to school, and they want to go to school because it might be their show and tell day or their friends going, but they're sick, and they try to act like they're not, and you'd be like, really, that's what you're gonna do?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna let you go, because they're gonna be mad, but they don't realize that what you're doing is having me go. First of all, spend all my time in traffic, pay to park, to have to go to work, to have to leave the meeting to come back and get you when I know you're sick already. So why can't we just skip all of that and do what Mommy knows is right?
Yeah. Yeah, Mommy knows best. And also, like, there's an intuition. And this is something that I learned also from having kids or having a kid, is that like when I was younger, I would think that I was telling a story and I'm getting away with it, you know what I mean? And then as I've gotten older and now I had the kid, I'm like, oh, so y'all knew I was lying, because no kid is good at lying or whatever they're doing, or hiding something. It's like, oh, so y'all already knew that I was doing it, but y'all just were too tired or too annoyed like to call me out on it. Because that's like, he'll try to do something like, all right, I already know what you're doing, but whatever, just go ahead.
Knowing is a responsibility. Think about it. Once you're in the position of knowing and you're talking to somebody who doesn't, you still have to, now that you're knowing, you are obligated to carry out what needs to be done, regardless of whether this person knows or not, because you know. It's like my kid telling me, Mommy, you can't do this to this box cake. It said it needs 2 eggs and 1 cup of oil and this and that. And I'm like, okay, you make your cake. I'll make mine. Now, my box cake was much better, fluffier, everything. You didn't follow the directions. Sometimes
Right.
I already know what to do and you don't. You chose to follow the directions. That's what you got. I already know how that cake was going to taste. You didn't. So what I did was I'll make my own and I'm going to let you find out for yourself, because evidently the words come out my mouth is like the bubbles from the alligator's booty, and they weren't but bubbles in the first place. So you have to let them find out.
Yeah. And then once they find out, I guess the more that they find out, then they're like, oh, okay, I'll trust mommy probably knows, or daddy probably knows, the more that you do those things. I'm just not looking forward to always having to prove it, because sometimes I'll be wrong on something, you know, like I'll be really, I don't know if you've ever had this. It seems like by your look, and maybe not, but sometimes you be wrong on something.
Yes.
I remember my mom was telling, she was like, we had to go to school, and I was like, Mom, I need this calculator. I need a scientific calculator or whatever to go to school. She's like, boy, you don't need no scientific calculator. And I was like, nah, I really do need it. She's like, you don't even need it. Look, you do everything by hand. And then she went and did the math problem or whatever. And then she like added up, like, now put that in your calculator. And then I did the calculator and it was wrong. She's like, wait, what? And then she like went through, she's like, oh boy, just take the calculator here.
Yeah, but the thing is, with you got to learn humility. Be like, oh, baby, you was right. Thanks for learning me something.
That is true. That is true.
It takes time to get there, but you once you know, and kids are dumb. People always ask me, what's the best advice for a kid? Even I tell you, never forget what it was like to be a kid.
Yeah.
Realize how unsmart you were. I don't want to say dumb, but kids are dumb. They don't know. And boys especially I call them half thought or incomplete thought. They think, oh, I'm going to jump off of this. Not I'm going to break my neck.
Right.
Not my mom's going to have to go to the hospital, or I'm going to die, or the ambulance bill. They don't think about all of that. Just I'm going to jump off of this stairwell. Right? I'm just jump down here. Half thought, incomplete thought, whatever you want. But we already know. And it's almost like you're fighting an uphill battle with like, okay, you don't believe me? Go ahead and do it. But you got to pick and choose, because you already knowing. So if it's something that's like you said, they're going to hurt themselves or cost me more than necessary, it's like, look, I don't care. You could be mad about it. You're not going to do it. But if it's some stuff that you need to learn that lesson, go and touch that iron real quick.
Yeah, just go ahead.
You won't do it again.
Look, it's going to give you a little character. It's going to get a little scar. It's going to be a character builder. You'll be all right.
You know what? Quick story, because I know I'm running on our time, but my daughter called me one day. She's the clumsy one. She says, Mommy, oh my God, I burned my hand. She took the cold pan with the mittens and put it in the oven and put the mittens down and took the hot pan out, burned both her hands. So I'm like, I know you're not going to believe me. And I know we have to go through this dance, but go get the bleach. Oh, Mommy, no. Oh, Mommy, are you lying? I said, it's not, you're thinking about green alcohol or white alcohol. It's not going to burn. It's going to be effervescent for like a second, but it's not going to burn. It's not going to blister. I said, okay, do me a favor. Just take a cotton ball and put it on that one finger right there, that reddest one. And then she said, but Mommy, I was like, do it. Shut up. I know what I'm talking about. And so in that case, I had to be forceful with her. Yeah. She took it and put it on that one finger. And she called me back, not even 10 minutes later, Mommy, you're a witch. I don't know how you knew that, but my hands aren't even blistering anymore. I was like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
But I'm burning and you're telling me to put bleach on me. You're a witch from the country. I don't know if this country stuff y'all be doing got work. Right. So I knew, but I had to let her go.
Yeah. Yeah, people want to listen. The Surgeon General says, and all this other stuff is like, listen, I'm gonna tell you what works. But whenever I'm sick, I like to gargle hydrogen peroxide. You know what I mean?
It kills all bacteria.
Yeah, and that is something that is like an old school remnant, like you saying, like with the bleach and everything. But it's something that we have forgotten. And then if I were to tell, I feel like if I was, you tell your kids something like this, they'd be like, "What are you talking about? You don't do that."
No, you good because we do hot water, hot water, peroxide, and salt gargles. And if I need to, I will squeeze a whole lemon in there. Let's get it over.
There, and then that coal is right up out of you just immediately. All right, check it out. So on our podcast, it's the Blerd Dad Podcast. We like to ask a blurting question. People have burning questions. We have a blurting question, and that blurting question is always, what do you like to nerd out about? What is the thing that if someone came up to MsCole, like, what is you'd be like, you go through the whole thing, you just lose yourself talking about it.
Wow. I think we hit it. It's probably kids and motherhood. I can go on and on about it, but then I have, my floral thing that I do about how I put my flowers together and make my door couture or cooking. It would have to be something like that. But I don't have one thing that I just nerd out because I have people ask me about marriage and what do I like? What did I geek out about?
Yeah.
Probably comedy.
Is it really?
Comedy.
Yeah.
No, it's probably my flowers more. I don't know. Those two. Those are my favorite things. It wouldn't be work though.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I nerd out about how not to work. That is work is annoying. You know what I mean? Like,
actually somebody gave you a job? You got a job.
Of course. Listen, if you weren't listening, I'm great at the things that I do. Like, I'm great at the parenting. I was great at being a significant other for my wife, a partner. This parenting thing, I have a whole podcast about it. I'm great about that. You know what I mean? I'm doing great things out here. But the thing is, sometimes I don't feel like doing great, especially when the people annoy you that you're trying to do great for. But yeah, the comedy thing, obviously, as a comedian, sometimes I could talk about comedy forever, and I'm like, all right, I'm losing focus on what I'm supposed to be talking about, which is parenting, because comedy is like something that I nerd out about and really focus or whatever. Like we were saying at the top of the show, September 15th, get your tickets for Crooked Run. This is going to be a really amazing show. As a matter of fact, when it came about, it was like you were the first person I was like, I gotta have MsCole with me. She gotta come with me. You know what I mean, to go do this thing. Because like I said before, you're hilarious and you're funny, and I'm like, it makes me like pick it up. You know what I mean?
Well, you told me the world needs to hear your voice, and thank you for having me for this, because it's like, oh, I like this platform. I like how you've done this. It's cool.
Oh yeah, I try to beef it up, do some fun things with it, and really it's about getting the advice and having a space for this. Talking about the kids, talking about how to raise them, our experiences, sharing stories. And that's what it really is. It's kind of a fly on the wall conversation about parents talking about their experiences and what they did and how they did it. And I just thought the conversations that I was having while we were pregnant were so interesting. And I didn't feel like there was a space where people are kind of talking about it. And maybe there is, I just wasn't aware of it. And I definitely didn't see one that had a black father as the focus. And I wanted to make sure that was front and foremost in this thing, because, the stereotype is always, black fathers, and all this other stuff. And all I know is great black fathers. You know what I mean?
I can't tell you nothing about that because my husband was not home and I had to pull the tick off that boy's testicle. So y'all got a ding on my watch.
Is that, did y'all mark it? Did you put us all in the category just because of that? Just because that is a hilarious story, by the way.
His father wasn't there. I should have, that wasn't my part. That wasn't my part. I pushed the baby here. I carried the child.
Right.
Vessel for life. Host for his eggs. Not my eggs, but his detonation of them. I hosted. I shouldn't have had to do that part.
Tick on the balls. Listen, I don't know how that happened. And I don't know what I would do in that situation either, because you're supposed to burn the tick off, aren't you?
Well, I didn't think about that. I just pulled it off and burnt it.
I think you're supposed to burn the tick so it comes out easy. I think you're supposed to burn it, and so burning balls sounds like it would hurt. And I would have been like, I got to figure out how to burn it, and now he's got scarred balls for life.
Steph says you're wrong.
That's not what you're supposed to do. You're not
No,
supposed
I've
to.
heard of putting a drop of kerosene on him to make him come out and pull him.
What do you think, Karen? That's burning the damn tick.
Well, you said burn. I'm thinking fire, at minimum a curling iron, a hot fork, something.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Oh, you burn it after. Oh, damn.
So I was right. Thank you, Steph. I burned it afterwards. I put it down and I burned it afterwards, so it didn't live nowhere. You was wrong, did.
I was wrong, did. Damn,
you don't know about that. Don't you tell anybody else about it.
Hey, listen. This is why moms need to be around, because if it was up to me, I'm gonna burn the boy's balls to get the tick off.
Steph, protect your baby. Protect him. Protect little Momo, because he ain't safe.
Hey, listen,
that's why we don't leave y'all alone with our kids.
I can only imagine that I'm in there and then I got the lighter and I'm about to go in and says, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I gotta burn the tick off." She's like, "You burn it after."
Say men have half thoughts or incomplete thoughts. Did you just hear me say that? It doesn't change no matter how old you get. You guys never go past 10 in the mind. So if we find you and you can brush your teeth and dress yourself, we keep you.
That's untrue. You know why? Because I was going to burn it off his balls and then I was going to dip him in bleach, just like you said. That's what. That's how I was going to fix it. I was just going to burn the balls, dip them in bleach.
I sure hope Steph is with the baby. And she needs to be with him way more than you do. You need to have a supervised visits with the son. I'm just supervised. Do not. Steph, do you hear me? Please do not leave little Mo with the big dodo.
It's going to be fine. I had a contingency plan. I knew what to do after. It was going to be great.
You was burning the wrong things on both times.
Well, how'd he get the tick on the balls anyway?
He cracking himself up.
You know, like when you wrong, then you get angry at the other. Well, how you do it anyway? That was your fault.
You go defend being wrong. My auntie would tell me, I said, "But auntie, that ain't right." But that's what they told me. I ain't saying it. I was like, "But you telling people wrong, but that's what they had said. That's what they had told me." I'd be like, "Okay."
It's like, you change your worldview. You're all right. I've changed my worldview. I'll no longer burn the tick on the balls. I don't know how you got the tick on the balls anyway, but we'll get it out. So tell the people where they can find you next. Obviously, I've kept saying it, September 15th, Crooked Run. But where can they find you? What can they have to look for? Oh, we didn't even talk about this. I meant to bring this up, but you try to like play it down or make it low key. But you're an amazing singer too, and you have a platinum voice, and you didn't even say anything about. You haven't even mentioned anything about that.
Well, I lost my pipes yelling at a kid's soccer game. So I have not been singing, but I can hold a note. It's just really low. You know, I'm like Della Reese out here. Mm-hmm. But that was another life. I played 5 instruments and I was in chorus all through high school, and I was supposed to go to college, but she's 33 now. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, okay. So she took a little bit of that artistry from you and then took it with her.
No, the oldest don't do nothing. You know, the first baby is always the screw up baby because they don't come with a book. And I tied her shoes till she was in the 4th grade, and she's great, but she ain't gonna ever do nothing.
Oh,
no, she's a good mom.
That's something. Time out, because at the beginning you said it's a lot. You said momming is a lot.
It is, but I mean, as in career wise and deciding what she wants to do, she is gonna always be my baby.
But I feel like momming is enough.
Yeah, and she moms like, so she's her siblings call her the OM because she's the oldest of 6, so she's the other mom.
Okay. So,
but yeah, she's 33. I don't regret it. I love my baby to death. She was my reason for me to get together. Yeah. So I went in the Army, and it was all to take care of her. I didn't care what I went through, as long as me and my baby were able to have my own everything. I wanted to be grown all the way, not just, you can't be grown without your own.
Yeah.
If you don't have your own, you just grow.
Yeah.
I want to be grown. So she made me grow up. And you have to be, if you want your daughter or your son to see an example of what type of person, woman or man to be, you have to be that person. Mm-hmm. You have to become the example. So having a child will raise you.
Yeah. That's another reason for having this platform, because I was like, wanted him to have an example of dad doing something, putting something out there in the world. Because, at home you can do whatever, but the outside world is going to have a view of you and all the things that you do and all the things that you create. And then when they come upon that, then they start having you in a different light. Because at home you're just going to be stumbling dad, burning ticks off my balls. But then out in the world, you be like, hold up, he's the Blerd Dad. He's, you know what I mean? He's out here
stuff to watch all the lighters and anything flammable around you.
But you know, it is like a thing that they get to see you doing something, producing something, making something, and the voice you have out there in the world. Now, I like to play around, and I'm joking. I'm not, listen, everyone, I'm not burning balls here. Okay, it was a joke. I definitely would not do that. But
gracious, great balls.
Great, but I think that should be,
I had to say
with the name of the episode. This gracious, great balls. We're gonna call this Great Balls of Fire. I think
great balls of fire.
Great balls of fire. But no, on a serious note, I do like to put things out there that he will be able to gravitate for, and messages maybe in these episodes that he can gravitate towards later, figure out, what was dad about. Dad likes to have fun, but I also want him to have a message to be like, you can be directed, you can have fun, and you can have direction, and you can get things done and get things accomplished and produce things in this world, but still be fun and silly, Your
secret, you're basically teaching him how to prioritize.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I'm trying to do.
You do all right, Greg, but you didn't have no baby.
You call me Greg. You call me.
I'm talking about Glenn. I was thinking we was talking about Greg earlier.
I can't believe you came on my show and called me another name.
What you talked about Greg earlier? Oh, you said Greg was hosting.
Yeah, he was hosting.
And he wasn't doing
that. That was off air, by the way. We weren't even.
Oh, sorry, but it came back up. Sorry, Glenn. You know I love you.
Yeah, I know you do. Anyways, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun coming up
Saturday.
Yeah,
you guys can follow me at the Fabulous MsCole on Instagram, Fabulous MsCole on Facebook, and look out for Highly Creative coming out. It is I'm starting my new home design, interior design / home decor design line, and it's customized services, one piece, one kind for everybody.
Oh, what? See, we didn't know about that. We could have got all into that and talked about and got deep into it, but you said it's coming. It's on the.
Well, I've sold my first piece, and I thought I sent and shared some stuff with you, but maybe I did not.
You did not. And as a matter of fact, once you start, listen, we have ad space here available. We have generous packages where we can get an ad read for you. I can do a full ad read, which is all your verbiage, or I can ad lib and make sure that is interesting and very much designated and geared towards the Blerd Dad audience. So if you need them ads read, please come holler.
Oh, well, I'm glad you said something, because what about, like, I will also be starting my my own comedy room. I'm going to start my own open mic with my co-partner in crime, B Joy. We start our soft open will be September 23rd at the American Legion 28 in Quantico.
I like that. This is what I call twins. This is where you got one and then you slip the other one in. Did
you see what I sent you?
Wait, hold on. Let me check it out. Let me look at it here.
When I say door decor couture, I mean I do really good work.
Oh, door couture. I like that. Because you got 50 doors at your house, so that's everyone has to have a different decoration, so you know where you're at. If you stumble home and you go to the wrong, you're like, oh, this is the 17th door. This isn't the first door. This is the. But that looks amazing. I should actually bring this up on screen, as a matter of fact, because it looks very, very cool, very, very solid. Hold on, I'm gonna send this to. So everybody that is watching, you can actually see the type of couture we are talking about here.
Door couture.
Door couture. Is that what they call it? Door couture.
No, it's actually Highly Creative is my business. Brenda named it Door Couture when I came in, because she said, oh, they're so pretty. You should call it, it's like Door Couture, like fanciness for your doors.
Wow, look at that. Look at Brenda out here paying dividends.
Look, you silly. There's a couple more for you, just so you can see. It all got started from me. I just make them for my door, and somebody called me and said, hey, can you make one for me? I said, sure. And I do it simple. I'd say, you set your budget, tell me what you want. I'll talk to you about your favorite colors, your flower, your scheme, what you want, and I make it for you. You will not be able to go into Michael's or Hobby Lobby and pull it up.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That looks beautiful. If you're listening to this, you don't get to see the beauty, but it's a beautiful arrangement of flowers. So that was something that you nerd out about as well.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful garnishment for your door, and it really sets the door alive. It really makes it good. That's
Yeah,
okay.
it speaks. It makes it home. Look at the other two I just sent you. You'll like those as well. Sorry,
You sent me some.
I didn't see you send go away.
Hold on, let's see. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. We gonna put all these up here because this is fire.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay. Yeah,
Glenn.
it's
I'm gonna stop calling you Greg.
You call me Greg one more time.
I'm looking at Brenda and speaking to you at the same time. My brain's going in two different directions. Glenn, you know I know your name.
Yeah, you know what? I do know, but
on
as much as you've given me grief for thinking that I was doing something, birthing. I've
defended you for people calling you Greg too. So
you have done that as well. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up here.
Or Doug, you get Doug, you get everything.
Don't call me Doug.
You're that guy, Glenn, the guy that calls everybody now.
Here's another one. This one is also beautiful. And then there's another. Look at all these. These are so nice. And you get these for a wedding or something, or like prom. It reminds me of a corsage for your door.
Of course, yeah.
There you go.
It's glamour for your door. Yeah.
There you go.
I didn't want to go with door couture or door envy or any of that because I didn't want it to bottlenose me into one thing, just doing stuff for doors. Even though that might be the main part or the primary platform right now, I do more things. So there'll be more to come. I'll also be at the Brook Point High School Craft Fair November 4th. I have a booth. I'll be there selling my wares. So,
okay.
And running my own comedy room and going to open mics with Glenn or featuring for Glenn whenever he calls me.
Yeah. And then podcast. I know that you're doing a podcast. I'm gonna stick to it. You gotta make that podcast happen because the world does need to hear your voice.
I got you.
Ms.
I
Cole.
am MsCole. Well, I'm doing what I need to do. I'm cleaning shop. So I'm getting my space together because remember I kept telling you I moved from here. I moved to the other room. I went upstairs. I haven't found. So I'm creating it.
All right.
But I'm getting there and I'm glad we got to do this.
So am I, and I don't think there's anything left to say but blerd that out.